Welcome to tonight's University Boulevard and Community Advisory Team meeting. We are recording tonight's meeting, so please turn your cameras off and put yourself on mute. And we will be posting all of tonight's information on purplelinemd.com, along with all of the supporting project materials. Again, please keep your microphones muted and your cameras off during the presentation, and please hold all of your questions until after the presentation during the Q&A answer portion of tonight's meeting. And we are also going to ask that you limit your questions and comments to 1 minute. And for those of you that would like a live translation for tonight's meeting, the Teams format can translate that meeting live. And instructions for how to turn on that translation function, I'm going to turn it over to our community liaison, Stephanie Villegas, and she will explain.
Thanks, Carla. Buenas tardes y bienvenidos. La aplicación Teams puede traducir esta reunión en vivo en varios idiomas, incluyendo español, árabe, chino, francés y portugués, y muchos más. Las instrucciones para ver las traducciones están en la sección del chat. Gracias. Back to you.
Thanks, Stephanie. Okay, well, let's get started. Let's go to the next slide, please. So for our meeting overview, we're going to do staff introductions. We'll do a project status video, and we'll talk construction update, including work completed, progress photos, and what we have upcoming. We're going to touch on community engagement and then go into our Q&A session. Tonight, you're going to hear from Ray Biggs II, our Senior Project Director with MTA, Doran Basso, our CEO at PLTP, Hugo Fonturage, our project executive with MTS, myself, Carla Julian, our construction manager for this area, Manuel Marino, and Seren Sarkisson, our design build systems manager. The stations that we're going to touch on tonight are Tacoma Langley, Riggs Road, Adelphi Road, UMGC, and UMD. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ray to introduce our fall progress video.
Thank you, Carla and Stephanie. We're so glad that y'all were able to join us tonight. Thank you again. It was a busy summer for us here at the Purple Line. So let's check out the progress that we had over the summer, highlighting all the momentum we had over the summer. Chris, let's go ahead and play the video. Welcome to our Fall Progress Update video for 2024. We are here on Campus Drive at the University of Maryland, where we recently completed a lot of our summer construction work that completed the track installation all along Campus Drive. We are so excited that we have 5 light rail vehicles at our operations and maintenance facility, and we also completed 10 miles of track across the alignment. Did I also mention that we have over 17 miles of sidewalk that have been installed? Additionally, you can see the colorful canopies that are right behind me, and we have 19 stations that will be in construction by the end of this year. And we are so excited that we are moving forward, completing the momentum on the project, and continuing that going forward.
Crews have focused on many specific areas to minimize impacts and advance the project. In Prince George's County, crews prepare for track placement by establishing work zones in the center of University Boulevard. Traffic is shifted to the newly completed sections on either side of the road. At the University of Maryland, crews have successfully completed much of the heavy construction through the center of campus. This year, students arrived to find newly completed sidewalks, embedded tracks, paved roadways, and all lanes open on Campus Drive. Also in Prince George's County, crews opened 2 new roads, 64th Avenue and Mustang Drive. Both connect communities to Riverdale Road at signalized intersections. The flyover bridge from Kenilworth Avenue over East-West Highway has also been completed. Track crews completed the crossing of River Tech Court and opened the road 3 weeks ahead of schedule. At the operations and maintenance facility, the new light rail vehicles are being prepared for testing.
I am honored and thrilled to stand here today at our operations and maintenance facility in front of this. Maryland, we have a train.
Good morning. I'm Holly Arnold, administrator of the MTA, and I am so thrilled to be here today to celebrate the arrival of the first of the Purple Line light rail vehicle. I want to huge congratulations to the Purple Line team. This team does not sleep. They are working all the time to deliver the Purple Line for Maryland, and I'm so thankful and grateful for them.
These vehicles are 142 feet long. That's nearly half of a football field, almost twice the size of a metro vehicle, and will be the longest light rail in North America. It'll hold up to 430 passengers. There will be 8 bike racks on board, as well as 8 dedicated wheelchair spaces accessible near the doors. These electric-powered LRVs will reduce energy and carbon emissions, as well as being quieter than other modes of transportation.
Over the summer, we worked very closely with our partners at CSX, WMATA, Montgomery County Parks, and Montgomery County Schools to complete a lot of construction work and installing track all across the alignment.
In Montgomery County, the Purple Line has successfully placed both sets of tracks across the Wayne Avenue and Dale Drive intersection prior to the start of the school year. They have also installed the complex curved track at Piney Branch Road and University Boulevard, and fully opened the Talbot Avenue Bridge. At the Silver Spring Transit Center, the LRV bridge over Colesville Road and the foundations and superstructure for the new mezzanine are taking shape. Crews also started the work to build a new and improved Spring Street Bridge by completing the bridge demolition during the WMATA summer shutdown. Station construction can be seen across the whole alignment, with station after station taking shape. The highlight of the station construction is the installation of the first Art in Transit artwork element at the Campus Drive UMD station. The artists at Legg Lewis Legg added a beautiful display of color that changes throughout the day and is a shining example of things to come at the Purple Line.
Thank you again for your patience, and while we continue construction, we are going to keep the momentum up across the alignment, moving from laying track into the testing phase of the light rail vehicles across the alignment. We are so excited about the Purple Line, and we know you are too. Thank you. Welcome again, everyone. As you can see here, our project timeline remains the same as last time. And one of the big things that we had over the last 6 months is the delivery of the light rail vehicles. As you can see there in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, we now have 5 of those vehicles, 5 of the 28 in our operations and maintenance facility. Moving from left to right with the pictures, the second picture there is a capture of the overhead catenary system along Veterans Parkway. If you hadn't had a chance to ride along Veterans Parkway, I invite you to take a ride there so you can get a glimpse of what is to come to your area with the overhead catenary system and what the Purple Line will eventually look like all across the 16 miles. In that area, we are scheduled to begin our testing later this year, where the LRVs will begin to go up and down Veterans Parkway, testing and really starting to see movement of the trains on the track. Continuing with the pictures from left to right, that third picture and that fourth picture, you saw some glimpse of the video shots of University of Maryland. Over the summer, we had a lot of collaboration with them to shut down Campus Drive, and we successfully opened it up before school started, allowing for that traffic to flow on Campus Drive. So as I mentioned, our big milestone that we're looking forward to later this year is beginning that testing on the test track, which will be a huge milestone for us as you get a glimpse of what the light rails are and how they are moving on the tracks. With that, I'm going to turn it over to the construction team, over to Manuel to give a construction update focusing on this area. Manuel?
Thank you, Ray. And good evening to everybody. Thank you for your time today. As Ray mentioned, has been a very busy summer. Here on the slide, we can see the Piney Branch corner that was done through the summer that allow us to jump several phases in just one go. And we also finished a couple of weeks ahead of time. Next slide. Currently, on Piney Branch Road Station, we have completed the station foundation, the platform, and we have just recently installed the canopy just a couple of days ago. We are going to continue the construction around the station with the miscellaneous items from the station itself and electrical items. Between Piney Branch Road and New Hampshire, there has been a busy month. We have continued the underground utility relocation. Storm drain is almost completed in all that section. We completed all the planter boxes, and we continue the roadway widening and reconstruction at both sides of the road. We have completely the signalized intersections of Piney Branch, West Shopping Center, Tacoma Langley, and Carroll Avenue. And we have also completed the construction of the wall near New Hampshire in front of the Tacoma bus transit. The OCS foundation, it's already started, has been completed in the area between Piney Branch and Carroll, and will continue in the future till New Hampshire. On the upcoming work, we are going to start seeing the start of the project. That is the track. Finally, we are able to get into the middle. That is the goal. And the track installation on the ballast is going to start. We are going to obviously complete the drainage, the underground utility relocation, the flag work, and we aim to start the last of the station on this area of University Boulevard, that is Tacoma Langley. 6 lane pedestrian crossing. We completed the installation of the new traffic signal that will allow a new pedestrian crossing in this location. The traction power substation that will power all this area in University was installed earlier in the summer in July. Right now, just waiting on the energization. On the upcoming work, we are going to have a no through traffic in Carroll Avenue for the construction of the track. Currently, we are looking to do it towards the end of December when the school is over, and we intend to be there for around 5-6 weeks to do the full construction, a full crossing, and reopen the area after that. Pedestrian is always going to be maintained on both sides of University Boulevard. During this no-through traffic in Carroll Avenue, there's going to be provided different detours for the traffic in order to get to the other side of the road. The next section between New Hampshire and Riggs Road, the work has also been progressing very well. We completed the overhead utility relocation. We have completed the stormwater drainage installation on the westbound, and we have continued working on the eastbound side on University Boulevard. The planter box installation has been also completed, and we have also completed the paving and the curb and sidewalk restoration between New Hampshire Avenue and Riggs Road on the westbound. We have completed the installation of the sand filter and the planter boxes, and we have recently started the construction of Riggs Road Station. The OCS foundation for the catenaries has also been completed between Edwards and Riggs Road. And in terms of traffic signal, the New Hampshire Avenue and East Shopping Center has been installed. On the upcoming work, we are aiming to complete the storm drain installation on the eastbound, complete the curb and sidewalk restoration for the widening, and we are going to obviously complete the Riggs Road Station platform. The dock bank installation already started, And here we are also having the track installation started over the next 6 months. We will be also completing the new traffic signal in Ricks Road. Last section is Ricks Road to Adelphi. We have completed almost 100% of the storm drain in this area. Intersection, the traffic signal has been installed on the 23rd and the 24th, as well as West Park. We have completed all the planter boxes that goes alongside, and we have started the track installation in this area between the Northwest Branch Bridge and Adelphi Road. The OCS foundation has been also installed in this area, and we are aiming to start the Northwest Branch stream restoration below the 16 bridge. On the upcoming work, we continue with the restorations on both sides for the curb and sidewalk, overhead utility relocations, OCS foundations for the areas that are remaining, and we continue with the dock bank and the track installation over the next months. This area of University Boulevard and Adelphi, we have recently implemented the next phase of the traffic streets in Adelphi, where we are halving to the intersection. We are continuing with the installation of the storm drain. We completed the OCS foundation along this area, and we have begun already the widening operation on both sides of the road. On the upcoming work, we'll be completing the storm drain, the remaining OCS foundations, and the campus drive, it's already being completed. The complete demolition of earthworks, and we are going to complete the dock bank and the track installation across Adelphi. On Adelphi Road and Campus Drive, as I mentioned, we are already into the intersection where we are currently building the platform to start receiving the track very soon. What you can see over here will be the next step, the phase 2, that is where we will be switching to do the other side of the intersection, that we aim to have this completed before the end of the year. Here, Adelphi Road and Campus Drive, you can see that this is a very hot area where the motorists should expect delays due to the ongoing construction, and the intersection through the end of the year, January 2025. Traveling outside of rush hour is recommended. When navigating the UMD area, we are suggesting to choose alternative routes, north-south trips, Kenneth Avenue or Baltimore Avenue, or for east-west trips, University Boulevard or east-west highway on 410. Now I will give the turn to Soren for the system.
Thank you, Manuel, and good evening, everyone. I want to take a few minutes to talk about a very exciting milestone on our project, our test track. We are now moving into a phase of the project where we can start actually running trains on track under their own power. So I'm going to spend the next few minutes just going over the test track and some of the activities we have planned. Next slide, please. So the test track is located. I'm sure some of you have seen it. It's parallel to the Veterans Parkway, and it's adjacent to our operations center where we keep the train. As Ray mentioned earlier, we have a number of trains on the property. We have a couple more coming later this month, probably for a total of 7 or so before the end of the month. The test track is about a mile long, runs along Veterans between Annapolis and River Road. And this track will be utilized as a 2-track system. It'll be fully powered with overhead catenary, and it'll be utilized to do what we call dynamic testing of the light rail vehicles. It'll focus on qualifying the vehicles for further testing and proof of design for the vehicles and their subsystems and some of the other systems that interface with the vehicles. Next one, please. current status of our test track. So as I mentioned earlier, we have 5 trains at the site. We've got a couple more coming this month, 8 more planned for the remainder of the year. The track work is completely built, the 2-track system with crossovers, fully tamped. Inspection and testing is wrapping up now on the test track to get it ready for use. The traction power system that powers the test track through the overhead catenary substation Q7 is installed and tested, cabled, and ready to go. And then the overhead catenary system that feeds power to the trains is fully completed with the poles and brackets and the tension wires and all of the switches and other appurtenances that are needed to get that going. We're in the phase now where we're testing the test track so that it's fully ready to accept trains and accept train movements. And that is the process that we're in right now to get that ready for actual dynamic running of the trains. Next one, please. So to talk a little bit about some of the activities that will take place on the test track. Initially, it'll be testing the trains for braking and propulsion to ensure that they're coming up to speed, within the distances that they need to, and they're stopping within the distances that they need to stop. That'll be followed by some safety systems on the trains, the passenger emergency information systems, the CCTV, passenger comfort, HVAC, and signages and so on the trains. Those are all going to be tested while we're running them dynamically on the test track. We're also going to use that opportunity of testing over the next few months to train more operators. We have train operators that have already been trained. We have first responders, police and fire personnel that have been trained on responding to incidents or emergencies while we utilize the test track. And that training will continue on an as needed basis. The next one, please. Safety first is our motto, obviously for everything we do on the project, and utilizing the test track is no exception. The test track was built with all safety considerations implemented and in place, and as we start to use it to move trains back and forth, we will be cognizant that the safety procedures have to be followed. Personnel will be trained. We're on a dedicated section of the right-of-way, so there's no public access. We do not cross any vehicular intersections. As I mentioned earlier, we stop short of Annapolis Road and Riverdale on the other side. We will be using a state-of-the-art stopping device to prevent the trains from overrunning the test track, and daily briefings on activities for train movements and construction activities on the test track while it's in use. And that concludes the quick summary of our test track and our test track activities. And I'm going to pass it over to Carla to give us an update on community events.
Thanks, Saran. Next slide. So we do like to be engaged in the community, and we are out and about at a lot of events in this area. We work closely with Omar and the Crossroads Farmers Market. If there's any events that you would like for us to attend or come be a part of, please let us know. You can always reach us at outreach@purplelinemd.com. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Doran to talk bike, scooter, and skateboard safety.
Hello, I just wanted to come on this evening for a few good topics, the first of which being bike, scooter, and skateboard safety. As we are in the process of putting down more and more track across the alignment, including in your area, we just wanted to remind people to use crosswalks, be very careful when crossing the tracks with small or thin-wheeled vehicles like bikes and scooters. So cross perpendicular to the tracks and try to avoid getting your tires caught. Also be a little extra cautious no matter how you're traversing the tracks when they're wet or frozen, as the rail can be a little bit more slippery than a typical roadway. From there, we'll move on to PLTP's Beyond the Rails Community Grants Program. This grant program supports local community groups like doing such great work already along our alignment. We were really pleased to give out 6 awards over the summer. And really tonight, I'd like to call everyone's attention to the next upcoming deadline of November 30th. So you still have a little bit more than a month to submit applications for the next round of grant programs, which will probably be awarded earlier in the new year. Every 6 months, we provide 6 awards in the categories of community and environment. So all the information can be found on our website. And with that, I will hand it over to Ray to keep talking about the website.
Thank you, Doran. As you can see here, we refreshed our website back in the summer to make it a little bit more user-friendly and to add some information to help out with the public in assessing and learning about the Purple Line and knowing about the construction updates and detours in your area. So I invite you to go to purplelinemd.com and check out the website where we have the interactive map. I saw a question that came in the chat, and I know we're going to get to the questions later, but there are renderings along the map. When you click on the station, it gives you a look at what the stations look like and how the sidewalks are. Additionally, there's a document resource area where you can find some of the layouts of the plans, where it gives you alignment of where the Purple Line will be, along with sidewalks and access and how it connects into existing roads. And all of that is in the document library under resources at the top right when you visit the website. Additionally, you can visit the website on your mobile devices and it's mobile friendly, so you can always check it on any of your mobile devices. We also ask you to, if you have any questions at any time, if we go to the next slide, that you can send us an email at outreach@purplelinemd.com, and someone will get back to you and answer your questions as quickly as possible. Media, we have a separate email for you at media@purplelinemd.com for any questions there. And we also have a phone line, as you can see in front of you, in both English and Spanish. And we also invite you to follow us at Purple Line MD across all the social media platforms. We are on Facebook, X, YouTube, and Instagram. There you can get some quick updates of what's coming up in the area, some reminders of some detours or traffic alerts, and some just quick facts about the Purple Line and events that are going on, where you can learn about any and everything that's happening along the Purple Line. So we encourage you to follow us if you haven't, and you can also go on the website to sign up for our newsletter and sign up for news alerts, where you can get messages on your phone or get emails that we periodically send out of different things that are happening along the alignment. With that, I'll turn it back over to Carla, where we will begin the question and answer session.
Thank you, Ray. Okay, so just a reminder, keep your microphones on mute. And if you have a question, you can put those in the chat section or raise your hand virtually on the top icon bar. You see the hand up there. That's how you raise your hand, and we can see that you have your hand up. So I will start with the questions in the chat, and if folks want to put their hands up, we will get to you in just a second. Amy has a question about the renderings of pedestrian areas along the Purple Line. Ray, I think you touched a little bit on that. I don't know, Kat, if you're able to put a link to where those are on the website so Amy can reference those, and we'll be sure to include that in the Q&A session too. But those are available on the website.
Yes, I am looking at them right now, actually.
Awesome. Once you take a look, if you have further questions, let us know. I'm going to do one more chat, and then we'll move to the hands up. From Mary,
Sorry,
with tracks. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, at the base, sorry, it kind of glitched on my teams. At the base of Temple, like the intersection of Temple and University Boulevard, there is some white at that intersection. And then, you know, our neighborhood has been very interested in blocking off that entry and exit way. Just curious what the white means on the rendering. So when you zoom in, Temple is not really labeled on the rendering for some reason, like other roads are, like Riggs, which is more a busier road, but just curious on what the white would mean or indicate.
I think we will have to follow up on that. I'm trying to pull
Sure.
it up. Give me some time to
Okay.
pull it up and let us see if we can come back to that.
No problem. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, next question from Mary in chat. With tracks running down the middle of the roadways, how will snow be cleared from tracks? Will there be fencing along the track to prevent people from crossing tracks? People are using the Target parking lot at PG Plaza to access Metro. How will parking be deterred in business parking lots and neighborhoods?
Yeah, I can take that one, Carla. So I think for how the snow will be clear from the tracks, depending on the area, if it's embedded track, probably is going to be the typical snow plower. But for the sub-ballast, I will need to defer to our concessionaire. I'm not sure how the operation and maintenance is going to be doing, but that's an answer that we can give it to you after the meeting. Regarding the fencing along the alignment, there is fences in several areas, especially around the station, where is the pedestrian movements are going to be more. Other than that and that will be also answering questions. I can see it's all around, all in this area. As you guys see, the traffic is going on the outside and the trucks are going in the middle. So there is whether a median or a curb protecting or separating the traffic to the trucks. So the vehicles can only cross the tracks on the dedicated intersections or crossings.
Okay, and then I think you touched on all of that. We had another question from David, similar to the above, where the tracks run down the middle. Can cars cross the tracks to access driveways?
Yeah, that same answer. It's
Yep. Got it. Thank you, Manuel. Next question. I volunteer for Waze. Can a Google Maps link be added to the construction alert memos? Very helpful when adding closures. MDOT SHA has done this at my request and has helped quickly add closures. And he understands construction delays when closures are announced. It's helpful to send an alert as soon as possible so I can correct this. I think we can look into that, right, Ray?
Yes, I agree with that. We'll connect with. It sounds like you connect with SHA so we can see how they're doing and see how we can incorporate what they're doing there into what we're doing. Marshall. Okay. Appreciate that, David.
Okay. And next question, how will you deter parking in business lots and neighborhoods?
I can take that one too, right? So during the construction, in some areas we have already placed some additional signs to make to try to push people cutting through the parking and using it. Once this is open in permanent configuration, that's probably another thing to be discussed.
Okay, next question from Omar. Is there a safety mechanism on the trains that stop them if someone falls on the track? I've had my bike caught on H Street car rails and lucky had no vehicles or train behind me.
Immediate answer is yes, but Serena, I don't know if you want to jump on to give a little bit more.
Yes, we don't. This is a manually operated system with well-trained LRV operators. So there is no automatic mechanism for stopping the train if there's a person or a bicycle on the tracks. But the speeds in populated areas are low. The system is designed where the line of sight is very clear. We have a lot of emphasis on line of sight for the LRV operators. We have a lot of emphasis in the design on messaging boards for next train coming, and pedestrian signs to guide them and help them to make the right decisions. But it depends on the alertness of the operators in those areas.
Thanks, Seren. And follow-up question: what will the speed up and down University be for the trains?
In the university area, the maximum speed is fairly low. I believe the maximum speed in the area, I can double check and answer that later on, but it's way below the rest of the line. It's about 30 miles per hour is maximum. Average will probably be more in the 20 mile per hour range.
Thank you, Seren. Ray, I think you want to move to some hands up. I see that Joel has his hand up, and so does Javier Rivas.
Yes, let's jump to Joel, and then Javier will go over to you.
Good evening. Have some question and a comment. My comment, I know Metro had, before the station opened up, they had a grand opening, kind of reception after the ceremony. And all the officials, like the mayor and the city council, the county council, and Metro folks was there. Maybe they can do that I don't know which station they be picking. Normally they would pick the end station like New Kelton or Bethesda. I think I did mention it to Michael Madden when he was there. And I had another question for the ground breaking, but they never happened. It did happen, but I couldn't make it. So maybe they get the grand opening with ceremony and reception afterwards. That's my comment. My questions are, when they gonna start doing the overhead wires and the metro bus stop? Are they gonna keep it like they're gonna replace them or put them back where they were, or they're gonna have to adjust the location because of the pipeline right there? Now let's see, anything else? I can't think of anything else. I think that's about all I have to say. Y'all have a good evening. Bye.
I appreciate it, Joel. So yes, we'll definitely be coordinating with all our partners for the grand opening. We're all going to be really excited to open up the Purple Line and want to include as many people as possible, be able to share this public transportation project that's opening up for this area. On the second question, Manuel, I don't know if you wanted to come on and talk about the overhead wires.
Yes, so the overhead wires installation for the catenaries will go in the foundation that we have been installing. We don't foresee installation on the upcoming 6 months, as we still need to do a foundation, but we'll definitely something that will start in an upcoming months next year.
All right,
How about
appreciate
the
that.
bus stop?
Thank you, Joel. All right, we'll jump over to Javier, if you can unmute yourself.
Good evening. How
Good
are you?
evening.
It's good to see you all, and thanks for the information. Got a couple questions. So,
Well, how about the bus stops? You didn't mention any of the.
thank you. You can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you,
Okay.
Javier.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean,
Javier.
maybe Jill couldn't. Okay. Yeah. So, like, a couple things. So, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but every time I meet with any of you all, I want to continue asking about the program for businesses. I know I just checked up the kind of refreshed website, and there's some information on there for the not the Beyond the Rails program, but this is the $4 million that are set aside for businesses impacted by the construction. And do you have any updates about that? I mean, I think. And honestly, I would like a little bit more communication. Honestly, I hope that at this point you can count on me as a trusted community partner, and as executive director as Tacoma Langley Crossroads Development Authority, right, and representing about 200 businesses. And I've been engaged in this work. I know not as long as some, but 2019 at this point, I'm ancient when it comes to like Purple Line. I've seen teams come and go, but yeah, like is silence from one of your kind of communications persons, like, does that mean that they're still waiting? Should I be waiting for a response, or how often should I be asking the same question via email about like specifically grants programs, or like, and the ability to also, I mean, I've shared my ideas, and those are not just my ideas, but also like ideas that are agreed to within the Purple Line Corridor Coalition, like the organization that lives and outside of the University of Maryland and the National Center for Smart Growth. Yeah, just I mean, and I ask these questions because I'm really worried, right? And like I'm trying to really get as much information and continue advocating for my businesses, right? And as construction gets closer to University of New Hampshire, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen to a lot of businesses there, right? A lot of people are scared that they're not going to be around. Yeah, so I think I would like a little bit more information. I mean, right. So from what I've heard, it's like you didn't touch upon this, but University of New Hampshire specifically, construction will get there around April, track work specifically. And if we haven't even gotten to that part yet, and traffic is the way it is, and access to businesses keeps getting blocked, and traffic patterns have shifted and changed, and actually traffic itself blocks entrances to the shopping centers. How can people get to the shopping centers? And then again, and also considering pedestrian walkability, right? Since most of the shoppers in our shopping center come from Prince George's County, they cross University Boulevard, and I just want to ensure that there's plenty of crosswalks and safely being able to cross University Boulevard, right? And I'm sorry if I'm rambling, but like my last thing, I think safety has really been a concern for my businesses recently. I think there was a recent if you can look it up on like the Moco show about recent crime in the area, but and I don't want to be alarmist, but I mean, how do you secure your work sites? Like how can we make sure that it's not just kind of out in the open? There's other areas like Bonifant Street where you have beautiful fencing and, like nice kind of open for business signage. And I know partners have been really working hard to get that signage up, but like, yeah, like how do you get some of that? How do you keep like people from living, eating? I mean, that's like, it's a hard question to ask, but yeah, I mean, there's people like hiding and eating and unhoused individuals that use your work sites, during off hours. So is there any like ability for you all to add lighting or fencing to some of your work sites, especially where we are?
All right, so
Thank you.
Javier, I'm trying to keep track of everything. If you can pause for a second,
Yeah.
so that I can catch up with you. So on the Purple Line Business grants, the current cycle concludes at the end of this calendar year. So it's on a calendar year rollout as far as the Purple Line Business grants. So the Maryland Department of Transportation, we're working on reestablishing the grant program and to roll out in the beginning of next year. So that rollout of the annual contributions of $1 million that will start to go out next year. So more to come on that as the new program is taking more shape, so that we can be sure to get the grant money out in a more efficient way going forward on that piece. So that's all I have for you right now on that piece. But as we get more information, because we're getting close to the end of the year, we will have more information to share once it's fully baked, and we'll be able to give it out to you all as far as at the beginning of the year is how that's going to roll out.
So safety, walkability.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So the safety piece, during construction, I know the teams are out there. We have multiple people across the alignment that are checking, in particular on the pedestrian safety piece and making sure that it's ADA accessible. And we've really prioritized, if you've noticed, we've installed a lot of sidewall. That was one thing we highlighted in the progress video of how much sidewalk we installed. So we moved that up so that we can lessen the effect on how we're affecting pedestrian access. But the team is also regularly checking, and we work with the police and everyone as far as to ensure that we have safety along the corridor and the work zones. Manuel, I don't know if you wanted to add a little bit more to that.
Yeah, just to add to your point is we are also trying to reduce the amount of areas where we store material, and we are trying to reduce that so we can fence it. So we have 2-3 areas along the project where we have fenced our material, so we avoid any other possibility on that area. And to answer one of your questions about access to the businesses, when the work starts on New Hampshire, I can tell you that once we get into the middle work, where you guys could probably have seen, especially towards the east, is when the widening, the new sidewalk, carbon gather, new driveways are going to be done. So the work will only take place in the middle. So the outside accesses to the different businesses and the different properties should be almost in permanent configuration. So you should have less disturbance from that side.
All right. Did we cover everything, Javier?
Well, most of it. I think there was a couple things about, just communication in general. And again, I'm always constantly offering, more partnership. I know this is a big, complicated project, and I think the more we all work together, right? I think the more these businesses that are now being impacted will make it to the other side of construction. Because again, this has been going for quite a while. And so, there's legacy businesses, in our area that are 20, 30 years old that are now saying, hey, this is one more year of this is going to kill us, right? And so, I want to make sure you guys know that we're there, that we can, we can serve as liaisons. We love communicating. I love communicating with Carla. She always answers my emails, and this is, that's wonderful. I mean, I love that level of communication, and I wish everybody in your team would share that same work ethic and just knowledge that it takes partnerships to get this project done, and make sure you really do support small businesses, right? And not just say it, right? So yeah, thank you.
I appreciate that, Javier. I see your other question in regards to what are we doing to target through the grant program. So we're working very closely with our business engagement leads. If you don't know them, it's Marlene and Ben from the MTA team. They're out in the areas looking at these talking to the businesses and getting input from that. So that's helping to really reshape how we're doing the program to make sure that we are targeting the grant program to the businesses that are the most heavily impacted, as your question suggests. So that's part of this piece of restructuring the grant program to make sure we're getting the monies to the businesses that needs it the most. The jump to you, Joel. I see you and you're trying to ask a question about buses, I believe.
Yeah, but it was. Nobody didn't mention any buses or the bus stops on University
yes.
Boulevard. And
So
also
we're
on
working
Campus Drive,
closely.
they continued it. Something going on Stadium Drive instead of Campus Drive. Are they going to put those buses back on Campus Drive, or are they going to keep them on Stadium Drive?
If you can restate what you're saying, no, I heard you say Adelphi and Campus Drive for the bus.
The old route, they used to come down Campus Drive, but they don't. They moved the bus line over to Stadium Drive. That's what they currently run now.
All right.
And University Boulevard, I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to keep the bus stops there, or the route still goes down University Boulevard.
I think they're still trying to work out the details on where the bus stops are going to eventually permanently be once the Purple Line is up and running. But yes, I know adjustments are being made, in particular with some of the maintenance of traffic that is happening right now with construction. But those bus stops, you can rest assured that we're coordinating with all the different local jurisdictions to ensure that the bus stops are communicated and people know where they are by the time the Purple Line opens up.
So they're going to start running on Campus Drive, or they're going to remain on Stadium Drive? Because they used to go down Campus Drive before the construction was there. Now there are no bus stops down there anymore. They took them up and they moved it over to Stadium Drive.
Got it. Let us follow up and see if we can get some more clarity for you, Joel, on that, if they have some final answers on where the bus stops are going to be, or if that's just a temporary location.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. Carl, let's go back to you. I see trying to answer Amy's question. Amy, I don't know if you want to come
we're going to
on.
have to give Greg Sanders the MVP award.
Yeah, right.
As always,
Amy,
if
you want, did you want to come onto the mic and see if we can help you?
Absolutely. So my neighborhood has, ever since Purple Line, we saw you guys as a partner for something that legacy-wise, I'm sorry, it's such a niche issue for some people on the line. It's just for our neighborhood, but it's a neighborhood that's going to be greatly affected by the Purple Line, not just parking-wise, but just access-wise, right? So we have been trying to advocate for the closure of Temple. It originally was closed up until like the 1980s. It was never open to University Boulevard. So Temple would just be a dead end. And our neighborhood was kind of a cul-de-sac feel. There was not cut-through traffic, which there is now. And with the Purple Line, it will only be exacerbated by people trying to park in the neighborhood. We're going to, go through the county and try to get parking figured out so that there's more permit parking available. But regardless, people will obviously try to park, anyways, and gamble, I guess, with it. But the cut-through traffic with the Purple Line will exist still, just going towards, like from Chatham Road to Temple Road to University, like taking a right at the end of Temple, that will still exist. So the Purple Line will alleviate half of the burden that we have right now. But we really would like to close off Temple. I see that you have a sidewalk that extends across, the end of Temple in University, right? Something that we have been trying, I've been a CAP member since 2018 when this first started. We've always talked to the county about all these things. They're not interested for whatever reason. But we would like to elevate, that sidewalk. If it's an elevated sidewalk, if there's, planters or anything low cost, like low maintenance, to actually close off that entrance, that would be amazing. We just, we get everyone going through our neighborhood just to avoid the light or just to avoid this and that. So it's something that's definitely a major issue. It's, people are trying to just walk through the neighborhood, elderly, and people just had babies and they're rocking their strollers, and then you have people just tearing through our neighborhood real fast. It's a small neighborhood and there's no need for them to have been there at all, only to cut through. So anyways, that was one issue. I also had a question farther up about lighting, just concerned as, a former grad student at Maryland and resident in general, just the lighting around the stations. I mean, the stations are going to bring a lot more people from out of the area, and that's, a metro thing, right? So it's going to be easier for them to kind of navigate, and, there may be some stalking issues and issues at night. So I was just curious about a blue light, if there's a blue light plan to be co-located at the station, and also just lighting in general. Obviously, for environmental reasons, we don't want like super bright lights, but enough lighting to feel make people feel secure when they exit and enter that station. Like I'm from the Boston area originally, and so that green line in Boston is there's a lot of businesses, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of like notice, but the station itself, which is fine, but it's a little more remote in a way. The hotels do not open to the road on Campus Drive. People, hotel staff aren't going to just see, any issues going on at the station. They're not really, no one's really looking, I guess. So just wanted to flag that for consideration if it already hadn't been considered. I'm sure it probably has been. I'm assuming Maryland has said that, but just wanted to ask the question.
Sure,
Yes.
I'll take this one if you don't mind. So there is lighting at the stations, in particular, and safety. As Cern mentioned, safety is kind of pretty all-encompassing with the Purple Line. So we want to have well-lit, open stations. There will be the line will be policed by MTA police. And there will be numerous cameras, both at stations, on the trains themselves, with CCTV monitoring at our operations centers, and we'll be in close coordination, of course, with local law enforcement and MTA police. So there will not be like a blue light like on a university campus per se, but we have designed the stations and the connections with safety in mind.
Okay, was there a reason there wasn't a blue light, or or something similar? Do the police have something similar just to report and kind of have an easy button to push instead of having to dial or whatever it is?
I'm not sure the answer to the, when that was developed or conceptualized.
Sure.
So I don't know.
Thank you.
Okay. Carla, back to you. I think a few more questions have come in the chat.
Yes. Next question from Omar. There are many faded crosswalks on University Boulevard or areas with no crosswalks at all, causing adults and children to jump barriers and walk through construction zones at all times of day and night. How long will this continue? Any action to address this?
Manuel?
Yeah. So during construction, there's always trying to keep the areas accessible with ADA. Crosswalks are located with where the intersections are, but there are signalized crossings. So because of constructions, there has been changes, and some of them has been closed. But at any time, there should be an alternative route to cross from one side to another side of University Boulevard. So there should not be any need of anybody to jump over the concrete barriers. I know that during construction, some of the crossings may be a little bit farther away one from another, but they're just going to be temporarily till we get to the final intersections all fully open.
Comment from Javier Rivas. The Development Authority has some limited funding for safety improvements via lighting. How can we partner to identify where that will be most impactful?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can certainly begin the conversations now. I think it's also we're gonna probably want to see how the lighting, as we get further along in construction and more developed, we might want to see how the lighting looks and how the community feels, what areas might need to be enhanced further. It may just be a little tricky to have a good feel for that right now before the lighting is up. But I mean, we could certainly kind of begin to think about that as a possibility.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to spend it quickly and in a year. So, it's all these grant programs through Maryland, right? It's not
Okay,
long term.
well,
I mean, we do, we do have reserves, but, and probably will apply to other programs through Department of Health and Human Services or DHCD, right? But yeah, no, I'm, happy to have those conversations, like even if it's like temporary lighting now, right? I mean, that could help like kind of keep some of those work sites more illuminated or even like pretty lighting that will kind of draw attention, right? I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm happy to kind of work with you all and see where those things could be installed, right?
Okay.
Javier, we can work with you on the signage too. We do have open for business signage and we could do some banners. So happy to work with you and MTA's business outreach team on that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Carla.
That's all I see in the chat for now. Does anybody have any other questions that you want to put in the chat or raise your hand for?
Omar has his hand up. Omar, unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone. It's all right. So I wanted to ask about the closure on Carroll Avenue that was mentioned. And so the construction around that area of University and Piney Branch, my son goes to school at Rolling Terrace Elementary School. And I'm speaking for a lot of parents at the school, from the PTA, other parents. And so hearing that Carroll is going to get closed off for some months at the end of December. I mean, I literally got an email this week saying that coming down Carroll Avenue, across the university, going straight onto Piney Branch and coming down is a way that we can get to school to drop off kids in the morning. And now we're hearing it's going to get closed at the end of December. And so I don't know, I guess my question is really like, how familiar are we with the schools around these areas, and specifically to Rolling Terrace, where we've had a lot of parents, a lot of school buses get affected with these road closures. I mean, we were suggested Merrimack doesn't connect to the neighborhood where Rolling Terrace is. Neither does Garland. Will the other streets be opened coming out of the neighborhood once Carroll Avenue is closed off to cross? Because it's already, you can't make a left. I'm not the first one to complain about the construction around Piney Branch University Boulevard, but you can't make a left coming out of the neighborhood. With Carroll Avenue closing right there, is that gonna happen at the same time as these other roads that we can't make a left? Because it's already taken folks, a trip to Giant that used to take 5 minutes, now it takes 20 minutes.
Let us jump into describe this a little bit more, Omar. We can go back to those slides, Manuel, and if you can go into the timing and how we do think about the timing and how it's affecting the schools before we do the shutdown and all of that, and then how all of the other roads are opening up. So Chris, if we can go back a couple of slides, and Omar, we should be able to answer all your questions here.
So Omar, just to answer the question, I mean, the intention of Piney Branch, the only crossing that right now is closed is Barron Street, that we are planning to reopen that by the end of this month. So we are trying always not to have several intersections in the vicinity close at the same time. So in terms of Carroll Avenue, our intention is to close it after the school break. So like we mentioned, we are doing this because it's going to be way faster doing it like that. The interruption is going to be lesser than the regular crossings, and also we are going to take advantage of that school break. So we are aiming to be there 5 to 6 weeks in this crossing. We have already proved in the summer and in other areas that we have been very effective and fast when we were doing the crossings. That's why we are always trying to adjust school breaks, spring breaks, and things like that to minimize the impact that you are mentioning before. But just rest assured that the Piney Branch, the last crossing, it's going to be done and open by the end of this month. So Piney Ranch should not have more crossers. We'll have Garland and Barron open after the end of this month.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And not to take up too much time, but also to speak for on University and Ann Street as you approach New Hampshire Avenue. I'm the manager for the farmers market that's there on University and Ann Street. And our market, half of our customers come from the PG side. And so I'm also sharing, what customers are saying, what shoppers are saying, community members are saying that are up and down University Boulevard when it comes to the farmers market. And then I just want to reiterate how important it is to have safe walking areas and bike areas, signage when it comes to the dangers of bike wheels getting caught on these rails, because our community is heavy on walking. It's more on walking and biking. Not everybody can afford a vehicle in every household in this community. And we have folks that say it's getting harder for them to go up and down University Boulevard to access grocery stores, not just the farmers market. I mean, it's a problem for folks with strollers and wheelchairs sometimes. But especially right there between Ann Street, approaching New Hampshire Avenue in front of the shopping plaza, it is not clear where folks can walk on that side. So you'll have folks walking in the parking lot. You'll have folks walking in the street. We can cross the side. We can cross the crosswalk, but the crosswalk is faded. And now the service road is getting worked. So that whole area is getting a bit crazy. But I just want to bring, the importance of the walking spaces up and down University, and just because there's not 100 people in this CAT meeting right now, stating their frustrations. If you just hang around the area for a little bit, there's a lot of folks that because of lack of access to technology, or they have 2 jobs, language barriers, you're not hearing it from them, but we're hearing it from them, and they're worried about just being able to go to the grocery store and not get hit by a car. You mentioned the crosswalks and the other areas for folks to cross, but between New Hampshire Avenue and Riggs Road, you can go a good distance without having an area to cross the street, and that's why folks are crossing the barriers. So it's just things to keep in mind on that one. Yeah, I think that's what I have. Thank you.
Appreciate that, Omar. We'll have the team take a closer look at that. And as always, if you see anything out there, just let us know. Send either the email or calling us, and we immediately get the team out there to address things that come in through our outreach.
It looks like Javier has a clarification to that discussion too. Just to clarify, when you refer in the presentation to East and West Shopping Center, are you referring to the entrances by Ann Street and the former Rite Aid? Have not checked, but there was a pedestrian crossing light that was eliminated at Ann and University. Is that going to be restored? Manuel, I don't know if you know the answer to that.
Yeah. So the West Shopping Center is the one that is close to Ann Street. So there's going to be 2 crossings, if I don't remember wrong. there's going to be 2 crossings. If you give me a second, I'm gonna confirm it. I have. There's going to be a crossing in front of Lebanon, and then what is called the West Shopping Center, that is the access to the Tacoma Center. So within that vicinity, there's going to be 3 crossings: Merrimack, Lebanon, and West Shopping Center between Carroll and New Hampshire.
Okay, so west and east, that's kind of in the same intersection you're saying, just to different sides of the street, or Merrimack and what? I'm sorry, I'm just looking at a map right now. Merrimack, Lebanon. Okay,
Correct.
I see.
So
I see.
there is
Okay, thank you. But yeah, no, I was talking about the, where the former Rite Aid was, and that, there was a crossing there that was a crossing light that was eliminated, and just as Omar was saying, people are still crossing the street, especially because the farmers market almost is right there, and I think last time I was there, people are still using that. It's just habit, right? People are using that crossing to avoid those to have to navigate, like cars coming out of the shopping center turning left on University, right? And the Tacoma Shopping Center, right? So yeah, is that, I was wondering if that's going to be restored.
So there is a new restore permanent sidewalk on the north side opposite to Ann Street from New Hampshire to the west, that we have been doing constructing over the last few months. Now we are working on the south side, especially you probably have seen the progress east of Ann Street to New Hampshire, where we are close to be paving. There is some areas there where you could see now that the new permanent sidewalk is being built right now. But right now, all the pedestrians should be going on the other side to allow the construction on this south side. But we do foresee that once we get into the middle portion to build the tracks, both sides will be in the permanent sidewalk.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm still not making myself clear, I guess. But yeah, no, I don't. You see, like the problem is, right, I'm referring to streets really that people use as streets, but they're not official. They're just wide entrances to shopping centers, right? But due to all the traffic disruption, people have started using these as roads, which is not an infrastructure that's not designed or able to like withstand that much traffic. But beyond that, again, like there is at the corner, if you are familiar at all, there used to be a Rite Aid right there. If you look at the map right now on the Prince George's County side, there's the Bites Bar and Grill on Google Maps, right? So that corner specific of that building, there was a crossing, and I think there was a light that was installed there for traffic, but the pedestrian crossing light that says it's safe to cross the street was not there, and so. But again, people are still using. I think there's both sides of that wide entrance to the Prince George's County shopping center. That's right where the Rite Aid used to be. Again, I don't know. I forget what the actual name for that shopping center is. But I mean, people cross on both sides of that, that entrance, and I believe there was a light right there at that corner of University and across the street from Ann Street. So there's a light that directs traffic out of the shopping center where Mega Mart is, so when you're coming out of there, people take a left onto University, and that they're, basically pedestrians have to contend with just crossing the street not very safely.
Omar, if you can send a specific location, I will personally take a look to that and try to answer your concerns. But like I say, in this area, there's going to be 2 dedicated crossings, signalized new crossings for pedestrian as well as the traffic.
Javier, if you want to send that to me, we can help clarify that further.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I mean, thank you.
Okay, anybody else want to raise their hand or put anything in chat?
I can keep going, but I won't do it, Carla.
Hey, you know, we're always open. You can call me tomorrow. Okay, well, thank you everybody for your time. Again, thanks Greg Saunders for MVP of the chat and everything else Purple Line. We appreciate you. And if you guys have follow-up questions, please let us know, and we look forward to hearing from you in the future. Good night.